Okay, class, we're going to start the next session shortly. So in the meantime, just get yourself ready. Those that are not back yet, or those that are back already, just get yourself ready. Everybody back? Okay, let's just do a polling. Okay. Okay, still a couple of more students are not back yet. Just give them 1 more minute and then we will start, all right? Less than half is around. Okay, let's just wait for 1 more minute. If they are not back yet, we will still carry on our lesson proper, okay? Okay, I think let's not wait. Let's just start for the benefit of those students that are here already. Okay, now the next part that we are going to talk about will be defining what organization culture is and why is it important in every organization. Okay, you see, when we talk about organization culture, it actually relates to this word called culture. Okay, and basically, what is culture, right? Now, we always look in the perspective of individual, a family, a country, globe, as well as what we are looking here as an organization culture. So as you can see that when we talk about culture, we talk about when every one of us, we have certain unique self, okay? And we behave in certain ways. So this is how we act and interact. So when we talk about organization culture, it basically boils down to a certain kind of shared value, or we talk about the things that are done in the organization and what is being created since the day one of the organization founder has created. It might be culture of being a family-oriented organizational culture. It can be as well. I see company whereby they do have, which is passed down from the founder of the organization. They will have meals or lunch every day together. Okay, even as the company grew bigger, they are still having lunch provided and having lunch at work every day. Okay, so this is talking about certain culture that is being instilled, a unique self that it is being already there in the organization, which in fact influence the way the organization member act. All right. So therefore, what is in fact, if let's say we want to dwell down to explain what is culture, it is basically first perceived. Okay, let me just put this perceived. When you talk about culture being perceived, right? Sometimes perception, okay, perceived come from the word perception. And perception is something which we can't really touch it, we can't see as well, okay? But it is what we feel or experience within the organization, okay? So it is something which is, in a way, it is not something that is visible, okay? It's not, I mean, not something that is tangible that you can touch. It's something that you perceive, which come from the word perception, okay? So it is something which people perceive it. Okay, example like we perceive Apple as a very innovative company. Perception. Okay, you perceive it. The next one is descriptive. What is basically descriptive? It also talks about the other than perceiving it, how does the group of people in the organization in fact describe the culture, be it they like it or not. Like they say, oh, wow, they are so okay. Like some company, they are very workaholic. Some members will say, wow, this organization, everybody work very hard. It can be a culture as well. They described it as an organization that has this culture that everybody work very hard. A culture, okay, or a culture by everybody just lazy to work. It can be a culture as well. Okay, it's a descriptive. It's something that you other than perceiving it, you describe it as how it is. Okay. Okay, the next one, culture is also shared. What does it mean by shared? So this is interesting because um all of us came from different walks of life. We come from different family background. And if you can see, even in your class itself, you will see friends or maybe peers who come from different country. The way they do things is different. Okay, but usually in organization, why is it shared is because when all of you join an organization, somehow or other you will merge and blend and will work towards how the organization wants you to work. Okay, so the culture in organization, it becomes something that is being shared among everyone. Okay, can I understand this part? Can I understand? Okay, okay, great. If no question, I'll move on to the dimension of culture. Now, when you look at this, right, you will realize that here is written there is a few different dimensions of culture. Now, I'm going to use two examples, which is innovation and risk taking. which you can use, okay, Apple. Okay, pardon me because I'm using cursor to draw, so it might be a bit slow. Apple, okay, who focus on product innovation. As you can see, they take a lot of risk in even creating, okay, and creating a new product. In fact, even like things like iPod, iPad, iPhone, in fact, it's a risk taking. It comes with an innovation, but of course, when they first innovate, it is a risk taking. Am I right? Because they won't know that the response will be so overwhelming. But when they start to innovate, they take the risk that it might be a failed product. Okay, and all these, right? As you can see, innovation and risk taking, right? You also encourage employees as well. So when you look into it, right, somehow or other, the culture or the dimension of the culture can move in such a way for the Apple product. All right. The next one, which I want to talk about, will be Southwest Airline. Okay, Southwest Airline, they are very people oriented, or we can say that they have people orientation. So why is it so? Because for Southwest Airlines, okay, you all heard of Southwest Airline? It's one of the airline that is, okay, Southwest. Okay, tell me some of you, where is Southwest Airline from? Southwest Airline is from where? Okay, good, from US. Okay, so basically Southwest Airline, right? Their culture or the dimension of culture that they hold on is basically people orientation. All right. So basically they are very people focused. So they make it a point to make their employees as a central part, as in like how they treat them, they give them maybe good compensation, they treat them well, they make sure that they get their due reward or reserve for what they have done. Okay, so these are basically dimensions of culture. Of course, we have other things such as like attention to details, outcome orientation, which is a lot of company, they focus on this outcome orientation as well. Team orientation, usually we will use it in those kind of like uniform group or organization that always operates in terms of team. Aggressiveness, and of course lastly stability. So all these, right, are basically dimension of culture. These are not all, okay, these are just some examples that are just as a demonstration for you to understand what is dimension of culture. Okay, so in an organization, right, it can be more than one dimension of culture. It can be one, it can be two, maybe it can be three. So it depends, okay? It depends on how you look at it. All right. Okay, so basically these are the dimension of culture. Okay, take a few minutes to look at these and then let me know if you have any questions. Any question? Okay, don't worry about asking question because anyway, and the best part is that I can't see you. Okay, your friends also can't see you. So, and for my, like I mentioned during my first class, no question to me is a stupid question. All right. So if you do have any question that you want to ask, please do. Okay. So basically, dimension of culture encompass of how the country, how the organization want to influence the members of the group in certain ways. Okay. Okay, the next one we talk about learning, organization, and culture. So if you see on this chart, on the left side, it talks about where does culture come from. And on the right side, it talks about how employees learn the culture. You see, in a lot of ways, people always say, hey, how does this company um, evolve to have this kind of culture? Definitely there are a few things. And the first one is definitely the founder must have created certain vision, mission, which leads to the organization culture being embedded. Okay. If you look at it, the culture always starts with the person who started the organization, the founder, okay, the initial members. So when you look at this, right, how they want to project the organization will depends on, it might be come from the mission, it can come from the vision, and how they want the group to be led. Okay, and usually, right, when they have a certain direction, as along the way where they engage more people or staff, they will definitely impose these into the organization members or the employees. You know what I'm trying to say? And as the company gets older, meaning as they continue to be competitive advantage or sustainable competitive advantage in the marketplace, they continue to create this history. What do I mean by that? Meaning is like if they start this company, they have 2 years, they are 2 years old, they already created 2 years of history. You know what I mean? So when that's why you see certain company when they are very, very old or they are very established in the market, or they are already in the market for very long, somehow or other, they have this embedded culture which is shared, okay, or being so-called perceived or shared or described by people of the organization or even the public or even the members. So usually when an employee join the company, how does he learn the culture? When you join the company, okay, nowadays our internet is very advanced. Google website. So in a way, right, a lot of people even before going for interview, they will search. Okay, they'll do a web-based search. Like let's say, example, if you are going to work in Samsung, okay, let's say you have an interview tomorrow and you want to know more about Samsung, the stories of the organization, okay, what happened to Samsung, you will be able to find in the Wikipedia or in the write-up, okay, that you can find or search on the website. Okay, this is one, organization stories. Now, in the past, of course, you need people to tell you, but in today's context, you can search for anything, okay? Because it's very powerful, technology is powerful, and it has created a lot of information. All right. The next one, you talk about corporate rituals. What does it mean? Okay, corporate rituals basically it talks about certain things that happen, like activities, things that, like example, what I was sharing with all of you just now about this company that has lunch with his staff every day. This is a ritual. So it become like, if you want to talk about culture, they have a family-oriented culture. You know what I mean? Or maybe people orientation culture. So the corporate rituals is this kind of thing that is repeatedly done in the organization. Okay, so this is called corporate riches. All right. So of course, like it can also be like where if you look at it, it talk about reinforcing the values and goals. We can talk about Apple product. They create this activity by innovating product. So it become like a corporate riches as well. That everybody is doing that. Okay, creating more product and more product, and it can like enhance on the values and goals. Okay. The next one, material symbols or artifact. Okay, this one is interesting. Okay, material symbol or artifact. Sometimes it talks about things that symbolize, like Apple product. You have a apple that is bitten, like is being one part of it is being bit off, just like you know, they some people like to use the analogy as Adam and Eve, the forbidden fruit, those kind. But it can also be symbols such as like armed forces. They have this symbol or artifact. Okay, like the way they dress, and like okay, let's say McDonald's. The way they do the furnishing is just like that, very happy. This is considered as part of a symbolic thing. You see Ronald McDonald, you see the nose is red. Okay, symbol. All right. Not this is not really a best example, but if you want me to use something that is of relation, right? I can think of would be like those army, the sword, the crescent, all those things. It'll be something which is in a way more representation or representative of um, the thing that people will learn. So when people look at that, they'll know, oh, you're from this group, this group. Okay. The next one is of course language. He also talks about but when we talk about language, usually sometimes we also talk about processes as well. Like in terms of like how things are being done towards other people, the way the lingo and everything. Okay, so this is learning organizational culture. So it comes from different areas and ways. Okay. Question after this part. So when we talk about all this, right, after learning what is organization culture, we need to understand how does this affect the managers. Okay, this one. Now, when we talk about how it actually affect manager, right, we need to ask ourselves, the key question is it a strong culture? Okay. Is it a culture that is so strong that is like it affect? So the two main ways that the culture affect managers, there's two. They will affect what employees do and how they behave. And it also affect on what managers do. Okay, so if it's a strong culture, means that the key values are, again, like what is mentioned here, the values are very deeply and very strongly embedded. So you depend a lot on the country, on it. Okay, it influence greatly on the employee. So the more the employee accept the organization key, right, the higher is the commitment. Okay, so these are the reason why culture will affect employees. Okay, because if let's say it's weak, everybody will be still doing their own things. They don't really focus on what is the basic concept or what is the value that the organization is holding. Okay, so sometimes right, a stronger culture, right, it will affect and also it will cost and affect the way managers plan, organize, lead, and control. And you'll be surprised that strong culture sometimes can even supersede, I won't say supersede, but even substitute for rules and regulation that are used to guide employees. Okay. So in a way, strong culture can create predictability. It can also create certain consistency without even needing to write down in a formal documentation. Okay. And when these are being so-called accepted by the employees, right? Somehow or other, the behavior will be what it is ideal or what is in the direction of the organization. Okay. So, but if let's say there is no dominant shared values, right, then the behavior will be less clear. Okay. So, like I mentioned earlier, if let's say the culture is strong enough, it can in fact even substitute, and the predictability and the consistency will be there. Okay. Question? No question? Okay. So basically, right, like, okay, this is a statement that some people they have not identified or communicate, but that is like I mentioned, we have to understand that in a lot of aspects, we need to come to a compromise as well. How the staff, employees behave as compared to the cultural aspects, the direction. Even like this, we have this is another culture that will affect the manager's behavior. So you might have for example, ready aim fire culture. Okay, so what does ready aim fire culture means? It means that in some organization, right, the managers will really propose, they will study, they will analyze, and they do all sorts of things before they like communicate. But in another hand, right, the ready fire aim, right, it talks about certain group of people who will just like they will take action first, then they analyze. So these are also two behaviors or cultural aspects that will cause a change or affect the behavior of the managers. Okay. Okay, now the last slide, we talk about managerial decision that is influenced by the culture itself. You see, like the first one, we talk about planning. Now, planning, the degree of even like all these things, we must understand that should it be developed, if let's say the culture is more on the team player or how it should be individual, okay, how the environment scanning manage, even like the organization, the task, how it can be done by individual or team, okay, the interaction among each other. Of course, we talk about leading, the degree in terms of how they are concerned with their job satisfaction and such, the leadership style. And of course, the last one, I talk about controlling. All these, right, has to be in a way in the direction of the culture as well. Okay, like how you emphasize on the performance evaluation. Okay, so all these, right, we have to understand that the culture will influence on the decision itself. All right. Now, until this part, any question? Any question? Any question? Because if you have no more question, I have a question for all of you. I would like you all to type in your answer on this. Okay, I'm going to answer here. The question here. Okay, now, before I start this, right, any question to today's lecture that y'all don't understand, need me to explain again? Is there any question? Is there any question? Okay, if there's no question pertaining to today's lecture, I would like you to type your understanding of this question that is posted here in the chat box. Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. I'll give you 10 minutes. Okay, so when you're ready, you just explain to me what is external environment and why is it important, and then type your answer in the chat box. Okay, you have 10 minutes. Okay, I have answer from Joy. What about the rest? Okay, good. So let's just see. Okay, you have 2 more minutes. I give you all 10 minutes, right? So you have 2 more minutes. Let's see. Come. What about the rest? There's about 112 students in the class, but only 3 answer. Okay. Participation, there is marks, okay? So please participate. Okay, good. I have 2 more students writing in their answers. Okay, let me just read those that have written. Joy say anything outside. Perfect performance, yes. Decision making, yes. By Qing Yi. 视同 component crucial to decision making. Okay, good. Okay, influence the decision economy. Okay, 白了门 Rugansen. Okay. Okay, good. So more or less, right? I believe that you have understand the concept, the external environment. The reason why I ask you to do this question is because for management, right, even for marketing, for logistic, and whatsoever modules that you'll be taking, you will be touching a lot on external environment. Okay, and you will be touching on this we call PESTEL. Okay. Here we touch on will be on demographic, social, cultural, political, legal. It's similar to these, except for PESTEL, right? We have, okay, this is the acronyms. Okay, so we have, okay, let me just type here. P for politics. Okay, E for economics, S for social. We have T for technology. We have E for environment. And five, okay, environment. And lastly, we have L for legal. Okay, so basically, right, these are the 6 factors that you'll be touching in and out. Now, what you have written is basically a very okay. I won't say surface, but this is what you need to know at this present moment. Okay, but later on, when you do analysis, you will actually drive or deep drive into how it will affect the organization, how it will affect, okay, and so on and so forth. Because other than understanding just what is happening, you need to understand how it will affect. Like just now, I give you an example in terms of economics, right? The exchange rate, how it will affect whether organization should import and export. Okay, the political or the legal side, even like medicine, certain drugs are not allowed in Singapore or not allowed in some other countries. So how does it affect the operation and the functioning? Okay, of it in the country itself. Okay, so these are the things that we need to be mindful, and the whole lot of things if you want to dwell in and have a more in-depth analysis. Okay, for this module, right, you do not need to do any assignments or reports, but in other modules, right, there will be highly chance that you need to use all this pastel environment. So it will be good to know. Okay, so whatever you have written is correct, and basically, right, it will affect the decision making. Okay, which is the one of the most fundamental thing that will happen. Okay. Okay. Any question pertaining to this? Can understand the concept behind this? Okay, if you have no more question, I will end the session today, but I will still be online. So until all of your log out. So please ask me question if you have, and just key in your question in the chat box. Okay. In the meantime, for those that do not have any question for me, have a great week ahead, and I will see you on Thursday. Am I seeing you on Thursday or tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Okay. Okay, great. So if there's no more questions, I'll see the rest tomorrow. Thank you and take care. Okay, Joel, the correct answer is basically for external environment, it is crucial because of the influence it have on the business itself. That is one. The second one is basically it is crucial because it will affect the decision making. Okay? So you just need to understand these 2 points about external environment. Question? Any more question? Type the answer. Okay, sure, no problem. So basically, right, for external environment, the first very important point is that we need the importance, because external environment will affect or influence how our business operates and function. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, let me just type again. So the first one, okay, I'll just give you a brief because it will influence how the business okay, and of course it will affect the decision making. Okay, these are the two main points. Whatever the student or your peers has written, right, is actually correct as well. Okay, but they expand it. But the points that are written here is basically the key concept. So when you answer this question, right, the reason why external environment, what is external? Okay, if you want me to explain what is external environment, is basically anything. Okay, for this one, external environment. situation, events, or happenings that is outside the organization. And the key thing is that impacts or impact um, the company, the organization, operation. Okay. So the external environment, the situation, events will lead to. Okay, great. Now that okay, great. You have understand. But just to carry on, the external environment is further being splitted into pestle. Okay, right. So what I'm driving here is that you all just need to understand the concept, because once you understand the concept, it is easy for you to answer question when it talks about external environment or pestle. Okay. Okay, great. Any more questions? Okay, those that do not have question, okay, will you be tested, Pastor? We will do revision nearer to date, so maybe we just leave your question on hold first, okay? But of course, it will be good to know whether it will be tested or not. Okay, thank you and bye, class.